Hello. I think we're live, and yeah, ready to rock and roll. Let's hope tonight will not be much of a issues and techy stuff. But yeah, welcome to the late smoke. This is episode 2, and I'm Ray. So waiting a few more minutes, people to join. In the meantime, I'm gonna tell you what I'm smoking tonight. So it's a very interesting cigar. I've never smoked before. So tonight, I don't know if you can see it from that distance. It is PIV Robusto. So this is a cigar made by Aganorsa, but is actually blended by Dion Giolito from Elysion. Um, the name PIV or PIV Robusto came from. It's actually one of those cigars which are made for interesting and famous people. In this case, Jeremy Piven, which is quite well known actor in Hollywood. He's been in, I think, the most famous movie he was involved was Entourage, the series, for about a few years. So he's an avid cigar smoker. So yeah, he collaborates with Dion Giolito. Again, he's the blender on this cigar. The cigar is made by Aganorsa in Nicaragua. It's a interesting 100% Nicaraguan puro, which Nicaraguan wrapper, Nicaraguan filler, Nicaraguan binder. The interesting thing on this cigar is the binder is Corojo 2012, which is one of the newest hybrids of the Cuban seed Corojo, obviously grown in Nicaragua. But this cigar have two binders, so that's a very unique thing. Not a lot of companies um, make two binders, make cigars with two binders. So there's a my father is probably the most well-known company working with two binders. So in this case, this cigar have two binders. Looks very shiny, oily, um, heavily packed. Size is robusto, 5 by 52. On first sign, look slightly bigger than 52, but I think it's 52. Nice dark tobaccos. Smell nice as every cigar at the beginning. So if I've seen 6 people, so guys, apologize. I'm going to look on my screen down there. I've seen 6 people already. If it's possible, if someone just give me a finger, a thumb up, if you can hear me, because last week we have a issue with my sound, and I found out literally about 10 minutes later. So everything should work fine now. I've already tested a few times. There we go. Thank you, Mace. Is any of you guys smoke this cigar? Perfect. Thank you. Is any of you smoke this cigar? Anyone who have anything to say about it? I'm gonna leave it now, so you can just mention it. Again, it's a. I don't know if you try to buy this cigar. Is it came in as a Illusione or a Norsa? Every website I managed to look about this cigar, it says different information. I mean, it's classed as a Illusione, but they don't sell them as a Illusione. So that is a PIF or Piven cigars. Even if the company does not have other cigars, it's just this cigar in a few different sizes. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, I mean, this is a nice lighter. I'll show you. I love the lighters. Those are Drew Estate canisters. They give them almost every few months with different designs, and look like a spray. Even have the, as you can hear, the metal ball inside, and literally look like a spray. Yeah, I love them. They're a bit bulky. They're table lighters. You can't just walk with in your pocket with this one. But yeah, who knows? Maybe some people will do it. So what's everyone smoking? Also, I have a cup of tea. So for me, I don't drink a lot of alcohols. I try to try different alcohols, but I've got very nice herb teas made with different herbs. So nothing fancy, nothing too bougie, as some people can say. So yeah, I I hope will be no more troubles tonight. So let's kick on. As we as I promised last week, I give you a quite a brief idea what we're gonna do, on the on the show. We're gonna start with a news section, and yeah, please guys, get involved, comment in there. So I know it's a more of a monologue, but I would like if you can do some comments, you leave some comments, so we can actually communicate that way. Um, Hermit smoking Marca Fina Brazil Robusto. Hmm. I don't remember what was that cigar. It sounds familiar. I don't really remember it. Ryan is on David of number 2 outside freezing. Well, yeah, it's a little bit chilly tonight. I reckon next couple of days will be cold. But come on, there's no bad weather. It's just bad clothing. Let's accept it. Before I kick out with the new section, the cigar started a little bit tingly, peppery harshness. It's not creamy and soft as I expect. So when I look at, even remind me a lot to the white label Davidoff, as Ryan says here, Davidoff number 2. So you remind me like all those white labels, Anniversario, Grand Cru, Millennium, even as a style. But it's definitely some body in this cigar, some little bit of pepperiness and harshness. That Corojo probably kicking up in there, but yeah, we'll see how that go. So there's a quite a few interesting news happening in the last week or so. I I want to start with them, and yeah, let me know what you think. In the first news, what I want to talk about is we start something last week when I mentioned there's a lot of people moving companies around, and this is another topic of that one. So John Carney is a gentleman who used to be one of the VP on the sales department in La Flor Dominicana for many years. He's a very cool character. I have the opportunity to have a chat with him a couple of times in during different Zooms, etc. And he surprisingly left LFD and joined Bentley Cigars. I mean, if I, if someone hasn't heard of Bentley cigars are very popular in Germany. They're owned by one of the biggest German tobacconists, Schuster. The Schuster family keep the rights of the brand. I don't think the brand is related to the cars in any way. It's just name. I don't know how that work in relations of trademarking, because there's a car called Bentley, there's a cigar called Bentley. They're literally spelling on exactly the same way. But yeah, John Carney just left surprisingly. He joined Bentley and will try to lead their department with sales in the US and importation in the US. When he left LFD a couple months ago, he posted in a few different websites and social media that he will do his own project marketing, as far as I know, etc. And now he joined another company, which, I mean, it's an interesting idea, but moving from LFD to Bentley, I don't know. I've tried some of the Bentley cigars. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of them. They didn't appeal to me. They're more of a on the budget type cigars. They're not. I mean, I say budget. Now people will say, "Look at this guy smoke only expensive cigars." No, it's not the case. I smoke everything, but they doesn't taste like a really nicely made cigars. So if you get what I mean, um, maybe they will change the blend. Maybe they will change their presence, because if you wanna jump into the American market, and if you want to join the American market, you need, I mean, you need to hit heavy. There's a thousands and thousands of different brands, and some of them are quite budget, quite not expensive, and they're phenomenal cigars. So yeah, you need to be heavy. Hey Craig, how we doing? So yeah, that's the first news for today. It's a very interesting one. Again, another movement in the industry. I hope will be successful for Jonathan. It's sounds like a very interesting character. Um, yeah, he know what you're doing. Then I'm gonna move to. I'm gonna just check how is my screen, guys. So don't worry, I'm here. I just need to grab my controllers and my mouse. So the next one we're gonna talk about is Toscano, the Italian brand, decided to release in the new Brenta line air cured tobacco. What that mean? Air cured tobacco is a very different than what Toscano actually are. So Toscano, basically, they're fire cured cigars. Excuse me. They're made in Italy. The tobacco, most of the tobacco came from Italy, and they used it. It's not a technology; it's a way to cure the tobacco. But basically, with the heat, you cure the tobacco. You know, you do artificial heat with making fire pits, etc., and just that big heat is just cure the tobacco. And what's interesting for the Toscanos, they're usually no massive ring gauges. They're very dry type cigars. You don't need to store them in a humidor at all. It's not necessary. But with the new line they release is the air cured tobacco, so they actually gonna change the technology, and all those air cured cigars they will need to be stored in a humidor. So if you buy in this Brent line, Toscano, they will be same size like a super small Corona, half Corona cone, of course. You need to keep them in the humidors. Also, they introducing something else. They adding binders into their cigars. So the old school Toscano Toscaneros, they don't have binders. They're just wrapper and filler. Now with those air cured cigars, they're gonna add some binders into that one, and yeah, it will look more like a real cigars. Even if I think a few years ago, Toscano or the company who owned Toscano, who basically is Toscano, they released a cigar called Marzio. Marzio was actually exactly proper looking cigar. I think I might have a couple in the humidor behind me. And Marzio was more of a traditional style cigar. There was some burn issues with the Marzio, I remember, but overall, it's a very good cigar. So, moving up the line with the next news, and this is probably something which I expect some people to put some comments in there. And cigar boxes behind me, full or empty? Well, they're all full. I don't. I have a few empty boxes there next to me here. I just keep them because I don't want to throw them. They're nice boxes. But everything behind me, behind the glass door, it's full. I don't have. I don't keep these empty boxes on the shelves. So yeah, this is a little bit off topic. And the next topic I want to talk about is a release of a very interesting cigar. We already spoke about one release. Now about the second release, which is more exciting, and this is finally there's a release of the new Cohiba Esplendido Gran Reserva, and this is a cigar which I believe a lot of people expect and wait to see, especially the price. So official information is Gran Reserva Esplendido Cohiba. It will be available for sale in Germany first, and the price tag MSRP in Germany, I think they need to follow the price. It's 570 euro per cigar. Of course, 15 cigars in a box. 5,000 boxes should be made, but as you know, especially the last few Grand Reservas and Reservas, I don't think Cuba followed that rule. They produce actually less than what they should be. So I reckon on this one they will produce those 5,000. Even they might produce more than that. So Cohiba Esplendido. What's an interesting thing here? The standard price of this cigar is, I can talk for the UK market. I think the other ones won't be much far off. In UK is around 140 pounds, so call it 150 euro. So the Gran Reserva it's about 4 times more, which is a lot. And but still, I am very surprised how cheap is this cigar. I know how that sounds, but I have a like an unofficial bet with Usman and a few other people. When they announced it a couple of years ago, they're gonna make the cigar, and I was saying my bet was this will be the first four-digit cigar price on the market. So lucky alien, it's no lucky alien. I don't know who you. Ah, I think I know what you meant. What you're looking. This on the reflection on the mirror is not a lucky alien. I know what you're talking about. It's something over there. Yeah, this is a reflection of my golf club switch over there. Is the golf club case? But yeah, go back on the Cohibas. Yeah, I should do a humidor tour for sure. I mean, yeah, maybe one day if it's that interesting, I can. But the plan is, guys, with this channel, every time I try to smoke something interesting, I might make a very short video, like a minute or 2 minutes, and just to throw it out there and show the people what cigar I'm smoking. There's some interesting pieces. I can tell you that. But the full tour of the humidor, I don't know how to do it. There's not much space inside, so it's a small room, but I can't go with the camera. I need gimbal, I need lightings. It's a little bit complicated, but we'll see. So go back on the Cohiba. I was thinking back in the time this will be the first cigar hitting 4 digits. Um, I didn't guess, so I think we need to wait more for the 4 digit cigar. But still, big price tag, and I reckon they will be. They're not in UK yet. Maybe towards the end of the year, maybe early next year, they will release them in UK. And I reckon the price in UK release date will be about 650, maybe 670, and I'm sure good 5 to 6 months after that. So we're talking a year from now. This will be £1,000 cigar. Obviously, no MSRP, but still. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this cigar. So today, this is my fourth cigar. I I start smoking earlier. I've got a few meetings, so I start smoking earlier, and all of them have some issues. And this one have an issue. It's not drawing perfectly. I reckon we'll start tunneling, and this is an interesting topic where I want to talk about maybe in some of the other shows where I don't have that much ideas, that much of a news or anything. But recently, I found a lot of new world cigars which have the same issue. That temperature is high, burning too hot, have a little tunnel, and just doesn't draw that well. Not a plucked, just doesn't draw well. But yeah, that aside, it's one of those marks I'm doing on the side. So if any of you guys wants to tell, let's say anything about the Cohiba Esplendidos, it's just throw it out there. I don't think I will smoke this cigar. It's I From all the Reservas and Grand Reservas lines, I have smoked only two. I smoked the Cohiba Reserva, Cohiba Reserva, Cosecha Reserva. That was the Robusto, and I smoked the Epicure number 2, again Reserva. I've never smoked a Grand Reserva. It's way too expensive for me. Um, I'm not gonna pay that kind of money just to smoke a cigar and thinking, is it worth the money or no? So yeah, but yeah, I'm not overly impressed. The Cohiba Robusto, the Reserva, I prefer the normal Cohiba Robusto. Honestly, it's the Cosecha Reserva. It doesn't feel better. It doesn't taste much better than anything. I don't know what to expect. I smoked few of them. I It's just a good cigar, but is it better than some Cohiba Robusto standard one? I don't think so. ep.2, it was slightly better probably. It was a little bit stronger. That's what I feel. But I usually don't like Epicure number 2. It's not one of the cigars I like, enjoy. It's maybe too mild for me. So yeah, I don't know what to expect on the Gran Reserva or the Esplendido. But Esplendido is a different cigar. It's a stronger one than the Siglo series, etc. So I like Esplendido back in the time when I smoked them. I haven't smoked an Esplendido in ages, so I don't know how they smoke now, but I hope they're good. Okay, um, let me check my screen, and we're moving forward, which will be there was an interesting report about the tobacco import numbers in US. I'm just seeing a question: did I smoke the new Jaime Garcia 2024? I have not. I didn't. I haven't smoked the cigar. I didn't know even that cigar exists. So I'll Google it later to see which one is the Jaime Garcia 2024. I mean, um, Jaime Garcia is should be my father. My father, they haven't seen what was that release they did. I mean, maybe I've seen it and it just passed through around me. But I don't know much about the cigar. So what I was saying, it's something more about the numbers and the figures. The results of the 2/3 of the year of the third after the third quarter of the year are already published, and looks like imports I mean, we're talking about the US now. The numbers, the imports compared to the last year are just if not about the same. It's only 0.2% less than last year, which is nothing. We're talking for something like 300,000 cigars or something like that. I mean, it's a big number, but compared to the overall scale, it's nothing. And this is a big surprise for me. Why I'm saying surprise? I've been to few interesting conversation with different people in the industry and a few different Zoom calls or more private conversations where all those competent people, way more competent people than me, keep saying that the boom we have during the COVID in 2021, 2022, even continue to 2023, that will collapse. They expect 2023 to be the collapse. It didn't happen. And they expect in 2024 to continue, and maybe that will be the collapsing time. So far, it doesn't look like it's the same number. So people still buying the same number of cigars, premium cigars, same amount of money they spend for cigars. Okay, maybe more, slightly more because the cigars are more expensive, but doesn't mean people stop people buying cigars. They still buying the same numbers. Some countries doing less better than last year, but other countries doing way better. So if you're interested in more on the statistic stuff, I will just have a look at the numbers. So the countries which are doing better than the last year, Nicaragua and Costa Rica, and basically everyone else is doing worse than last year. We're talking for DR, Honduras, Philippines, Mexico, Panama. They're doing way worse than last year. So yeah, I mean, Nicaraguans keep doing more and more better cigars. Same with the Costa Rica. Costa Rica is a massive increase, but we have so many Costa Rican new brands coming on the market. Even later, when we go to the main topics, we're going to talk for one Costa Rican brand. That's a very fair point, Mace. I tried to explain it pretty much in the same way. So, yeah, there's a lot of people like Cohiba Esplendido. I'm one of them, but there's no cigar worth that money. And I 100% agree that. I am selling cigars for a living. I, work as a tobacconist, and I just don't understand when people come into the shop and asking to buy Siglo 6 or limitadas or something like that. And the thing with the Cohiba Esplendido is not even limitada. I get it why some people buy limited edition cigars with a specific year. Maybe they have something to celebrate, or maybe they want to buy a box and give it to their kids. Something there's a year to commemorate. That's why they buy. Some of the people buy those boxes. But buying Cuiba Esplendido, which there's no box code on it. I mean, there's a box code, but there's no box date on the band saying 2022, 2024, 2025. There's nothing like that. It's just another golden band with GR on it, and I don't know. It's very expensive. And the very last news I want to talk about, and I will rant a little bit here. As you know, I like to rant about random stuff, and this is something which, since I found out about it, I keep talking with different people, even with people who are not cigar smokers, and it's just people don't know nothing about it. So this is I'm talking about the eventual smoking ban in UK. So this was announced last week, I think. No, we already a couple of weeks ago from the government. They potentially planning to ban all cigar tobacco smoking, not only cigar, all the tobacco smoking in in public places like parks, pubs, gardens, all kind of stuff, which is ridiculous. And of course, they have the argument that I think the number was something like 50, 60,000 people every year die from tobacco related disease, and that costs money to our health service, NHS. I don't know whoever is watching from not UK. Um, and again, can be affecting the NHS service and etc. etc. Which okay, I would say I'm not a I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how that true is it. I can just speculate from different stuff I'm reading and talking with different people who make cigars. But even if we say this is true, the government doesn't want to say that NHS actually getting about £8 billion from tobacco taxes every year. This is from the literally the tobacco tax people paying, like the all the I mean importers, manufacturers, whoever imports cigars in UK. The last year the figures are around £8 billion, which is, and the profit of those 8 billion is 5.5 billion only profit. So we're talking about huge amount of money which go to NHS and cover, I'm sure, every expenses over those 50, 60,000 people, and probably even way much more people. So you want to shut down those money, and where you going to get the money? My first question is, you don't say where you get the money. I'm sure you're going to say, oh, we're going to increase the taxes every year, with a few £100, 60 million people in UK, taxpayer, I don't know, 40 million taxpayers, we'll put £200 each, £300 each. But yeah, for a chunk of people, those money are not going to affect that much their living costs. But there's a lot of people which do £300 is serious money. And you tell them you're going to increase that because um, you ban the people to smoke outside. I don't know. It doesn't sound very logical for me. Or maybe I'm old fashioned, or I don't know what I can call it. And also, I can throw the other question is, um, how many people die from sugar related diseases? I mean, diabetes. If you just do a Google research, you don't need to go to a big website. So just Google it. How many people in UK are affected by diabetes? Every sugar related stuff. Um, These numbers are way bigger. How many people die from alcohol, or even not dying, use NHS services because of alcohol? I mean, what I mean is, imagine someone drunk, getting in the car, drive down the street, crash, injure two, three, five people, kill maybe someone, and this is all because he was alcohol related. I don't know. There's no numbers on that. And if they're gonna ban tobacco, I don't think that tobacco is their big problem. There's a way bigger problem. Why not start with your bigger problem, and also there's no much of, I don't know what's the figures on the tax on sugar or alcohol, but I don't think it's that high as the cigars. Obviously, it's a bigger amount, less money. I don't know. It's getting too complicated there, but they they don't want to announce those ones, so they throw it out there. Look, 50, 60,000 people die, and the normal people. I was on an event last week with people who doesn't smoke. There was some people who work for NHS, and I start talking with them, and I tell them, yeah, that's how many people die. They have the argument. A lot of people, I say, but do you know how much tax you're getting from the tobacco products? They have no idea. When I told them, and they couldn't believe, I'd say this is a high number. I say it's a very high number because it's an expensive hobby, and the tobacco tax is ridiculous. So this was a really really interesting topic. Again, probably is a longer topic. I can keep talking about it. I mean, it's and I don't want to even jump into the benefits or that kind of stuff, because as much as the NHS says about nicotine and etc., it's not the nicotine will kill the people. Nicotine don't have any effect in long term. Yeah, in short term you can overdose, you can do stuff like that, but in long term it's the same as a coffee. There's no one proven any effect in long term, which is stupid. So people dying from tar and chemicals, not the nicotine, and they keep saying, "Oh, the nicotine die, nicotine die." It's so stupid. And yeah, Mace, you're doing a very right point there. They need to differentiate between cigar and cigarette tobacco. And yeah, and alcohol as well. I mentioned the alcohol already. So um, they it's not very easy to separate it because every time some of the cigar people came with the idea to create a study where they separated the pipe and cigar tobacco from everything else, the government have already 20 studies which says opposite. And again, those are studies made for people who doesn't care about our product, who don't know anything about it, who treat cigars as a big cigarettes and stronger cigarettes, and they have even no idea they don't we don't inhale those stuff. Every time I spoke with someone who does not smoke, never smoke, or is against smoking, he think we inhale this one, which is completely not. At least I don't know a lot of people who inhale. So yeah, I mean, Tim Hermit Smoker says expecting to legalize the cannabis and throw the tax they lose from tobacco products. Yes, so that's the plan, and I would say the undisclosed thing what the government tried to do, because there's a rumors, serious rumors that the cannabis industry will be legalized in UK in the next 3 years, and the government hoping to manage to get some of those taxes from the cannabis, but I don't think that will get anything closer because how many people smoke cannabis and it will be okay buying cannabis from the shops? There will be people who will do that, no a shadow of a doubt. But the if you put the high taxes on the cannabis, that will become very premium product, and you get it like basically cigars. You charge £20 for a cigar which costs $5. You're gonna charge, I don't know how much costs a joint of cannabis. So I don't know, let's say $3. If you charge $3 for a cannabis, you're gonna put a tax here, charge them $10, $12. No one will buy them from the shops. Maybe some of the rich guys who already probably do other type of drugs, they will buy them. Maybe they'll go to the coffee shops and smoke them once in a while. But I don't think you're gonna get to £8 billion with the cannabis. So, as mentioning something, the sugar levy for soft drinks over 4.9 grams a milliliter. So I don't know how. I mean, I don't know any of those. Appreciate the information you throw in there. I know the duty of alcohol is high, but it's not close to what they were saying. Again, it's you're gonna lose £8 billion from chunk of £8 billion from tobacco tax. Come on, it's a lot of money. George says owners of cigar lounge will be able to do anything about it, or do you think that will affect them as well? Well, yes, because owners of the cigar lounges, they have not much of a power. Nobody asks anything those people. If we're talking for some of the bigger bigger companies which own several lounges, they still manage to communicate with some of the government people, some of the MPs, etc. Maybe try to convince them to lobby one case or another. But they nobody asked the government lodges. Even when the government announced this proposal for the ban, there was a big wave of comments in the social media about the pub owners, how they already struggle because of COVID, and now if the people can't smoke in their gardens, they literally gonna lose a big chunk of consumers and customers. So how that will affect the lounges, nobody know for sure because lounges are exempt from the smoking law in UK. So in UK, if people doesn't know, you cannot smoke indoors, but you can sample product tobacco indoors. So there's a specialized sampling lounges where people can sample the product. So what's going to happen with those lounges? Probably they will stay for now like that. Um, I've heard some people thinking that might cause more lounges to open. But opening more lounges, that will, let's say, if people who own pubs or stuff maybe decide to open a lounge somewhere or another, something like that, that will put the point towards the lounges, and the government will start checking something and maybe change the legislations in the lounges, because they'll say you can't have, like, let's say 500 lounges this year, and next year somehow there are 1,000. It's massive increase. So again, this is This is just a speculation. I don't know how true will be that, but I have the idea. I don't know. I mean, this is just a fun idea which I was talking with a couple of people. Um, if the government decide to stop the lounges, I think everyone can do a private club with memberships. Those are still operating fine. You can do most of the stuff you can do in the private club. So let's say I have a cigar shop. If you want to use the lounge, you pay £5 annual fee or something symbolical, just to be add you as a members, and you can go to the lounge. You can still buy cigars and whatever, but just to use the lounge as a private membership area. And I'm sure a lot of people will do something like that because it's again symbolical at pound at £3. So I'm sure everyone who like to go to the lounge, you don't mind spending £5 in one go for the full year. So we'll be able to go to the lounge and sample and smoke cigars in the lounge. Yes, as mentioned, another point. So Scotland is already screwed. Yes, but we know Scotland's a weird guy. So if any Scottish guy watches, apologize. I have nothing against the Scottish guys, but yes, this is a they don't have any lounge exemption, so you cannot smoke indoors in Scotland by any way. You need to be a terrace outside with specific perimeters, etc., etc. So I mean, yes, Tim. I'm sure whatever legislations the law bring and the government, they will be way around. I mean, we're humans. Uh, it's been proven that the prohibitions and that kind of stuff it does not work. And sooner or later something will happen, will change. They'll find a rule. They'll find a way out. Whatever private memberships, private clubs, private lands, something like that. I'm sure they will come with the idea. But it's just frustrating how the government just totally bullshitting the normal people, the most of the people, with some absolutely nonsense and not even proven facts. Just yeah, we can do that with the government. We'll do that. It's yeah. Again, this was a little bit of run today. I I like to run sometimes, not often, but when I run, I do. Um, yeah, someone else mentioned Sigurdir. I don't know if I can pronounce the name, but yeah, about the vaping, it's a very big problem as well with the vaping because my kids in the school, and they say my older daughter is 14 years old. She says in her school probably 60% of the people of the students vaping, and even a lot of people from her own class, from her age, from her year. So imagine this is like 14 years old, and most of them already vaping, which is ridiculous. But I don't want to get into the vaping because it's another complete nonsense. But everything is on purpose. This is another little bit on the side. When actually I spoke today with a guy who is very influential in the U.S. and he was in the politics in the U.S. and he says behind those bans and all those laws actually are tobacco companies. They actually propose that kind of stuff. Because, for example, STG, one of the biggest companies in the world, tobacco related company, they were very heavy on the vapes about 5, 6 years ago. And they basically saying government to stop doing the cigars, ban cigarettes, so people can do vapes. Now, if you look at their reports, they released their reports last week or 2 weeks ago. One of the biggest margin profit, if not the biggest one, is actually nicotine pouches. So they still gonna make their money even more than everything because you cannot smoke in there, you cannot smoke in there. Okay, they take a nicotine from with the pouches, and they're still full of chemicals, etc. So I mean, it's a vicious circle. It's a very weird scenarios, but yeah, I mean, what we can do, we try to just be noisy. Maybe that will help. Maybe not. So Mace was saying some figures about the taxes. 24 billion taxes. So alcohol is 13 billion. Yeah, big chunk. Tobacco 10 billion. My figures say 8, but that's fine. It's similar. Soft drinks is 0.4 billion. Come on. don't have even 1 billion. So which one is worst? Drinking a liter of Coke every day or smoking a cigar a day? I don't know. I have a lot of arguments. I don't drink Coke, guys, to be honest. I don't drink any Coke, diet, full fat, whatever. I just don't like sweet fizzy drinks. I just can't stand them. I drink tea or sparkling water. Those are the drinks usually I go for. And I don't use sugar that much into the drinks. So who knows? Yeah, it's very true. A lot of interesting comments from the people. I appreciate that, guys. It's soft drinks, yeah, all the taxes, etc., etc. Yeah, yeah, man. Nobody can see where they can get those money buying the small. I mean, I know where you get them. You're a clever guy. You work with money, financial sector. I mean, they're gonna just impose higher taxes. That's what's gonna happen. I don't think they can find anything close to £10 billion. But yeah, I think this is the rant on the news. I think I'm gonna change a little bit the topic, and we'll talk about the topics I choose for tonight. So as I announced it on the video, there will be three topics. See see where we're gonna go with them. It's just let me just grab some tea. So the the first topic I want to talk more. It's actually a cigar. There's a brand called Atabe. So I don't know if any of you smoke Atabe, if any of you know the Atabe cigars, but I'll give you a brief history on the Atabe. Atabe, it's mean basically the name Atabe mean one of the highest goddesses in the Taino Indians culture. It's one of the highest hierarchy gods. It's yeah, it's the that's the translation of the Atabe. Atabe as a brand is a Costa Rican brand owned by Nestor Alfonso, who is if doesn't that mean that name doesn't mean anything. He's a guy who was creating some of the most interesting and beautiful humidors in Habanos for the Cuba. He's a Cuban guy. He's behind the most of the brandings in Cohiba and Monte Cristo. All those gold bands with the holograms, heads, etc. I think this is all him. He's the guy who created the design on them. He's a very well known and respected guy. He also do a lot of designs on those ceramic jars, the Cuban cigar jars. And even if you see on the bottom on those jars, usually say Byron, made by Byron. Byron is his company. So he owned the company who make Atabe. He also make a couple other brands like Byron, I already mentioned, Byron as a cigars, and Bandoleros. So Atabe and Byron's, similar ideas as cigars, very different profiles, quite expensive and luxurious. Bandoleros are more on the cheaper side. The Atabe, it's not much disclosed around Atabe. So if you do any research, it's undisclosed blends. They don't specify anything. They says they're made in Costa Rica, his own factory. They use a very interesting process of curing the tobacco, slow curing with heat, which basically reduces the amount of ammonia different way. It's something which I haven't researched a lot. I don't know a lot of people who can tell me how they do it. But why I want to talk about Atabe? It's for me, it's a little bit controversial brand. I I personally never smoke Atabe. It's one of the brands which price tag is slightly more than what I would probably like to pay, and I just never been attracted to pay that kind of money. But a lot of people claim there's a lot of Cuban tobacco in the Atabe, which I don't know. Maybe some people can recognize Cuban tobacco, or if it's blended with other stuff, maybe it's just a create the hype around it because Atabe, when they released Atabe, I don't know, 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, they were blended they were tell basically, oh, this is the Behike killer. Like I've heard it many times with different cigars, which are more on that spectrum, that kind of luxurious pro. Oh, this will kill the Behike. Well, nothing gonna kill Behike unless they kill it themselves. But this is basically targeting that high premium cigars back in the time when they released them. That was the same price as Behike. Obviously now Behike is 5 times more, but that's a different conversation. So the brand Atabe, the presentation look really nice. I mean, I'll give him that. It's the buns are nice, gold, white, all kind of stuff, shiny. The cigars look very nice. I've seen the cigars; they're very pristine, shiny wrappers. They look better than Cubans, to be honest. I mean, I've seen I look in Cubans every day in the shop, and they doesn't look even what they should be for the price. But Atabe is, yeah, look really nice. Presentation's nice. Apparently they taste very nice. Most of the people who smoke them, they say it's a really good cigar. So I have nothing to comment on that. For me, it's just why do we need to throw there that statement, and why you don't disclose the blends? I mean, maybe if you have nothing to hide, you say what's on the blends. Not like someone can copy the blend. This is impossible. Even if you have the 4SP, you cannot do it. But why don't throw it out there? Oh, I'm using Costa Rican, I'm using Nicaraguan, I'm using Dominican, whatever. It's and with his relations with Cuba, I more tend to believe that he actually used Cuban tobacco in the cigars because I mean, come on, he deal with Habanos he still working with them, creating humidors and all those masterpieces. I won't be surprised if he have agreement with them to get some tobacco from them. But again, this is me speculating. Again, this is like a show for UFOs and stuff like that. I was just speculating and throwing out there, but it's an interesting thing because it's a brand which I keep follow. I wouldn't say that close, but I like to read about them. I like to talk about the brand with different people who have more experience than me, and everyone says it's a very good cigars. So we'll see. Maybe they will be one of the candidates for top 25 in the magazines at some point. Why not? I don't know if I don't think he advertised there, so most of the magazines won't be interested if you don't advertise. But if there's a media which is purely related on the taste and flavors, they should be there. So the difference between Atabe and Byron, as I mentioned, they're different. Atabe is more on the milder side, more creamier type cigar. Byron, I actually smoked Byron. A friend of mine given me Byron. It was just okay cigar. I wasn't overly impressed. I expect to be like, yeah, the best cigar in the world. You pay serious chunk of money. It was not in the case, but it was only one. Some people would say you need to smoke more cigars from the same blend, etc., etc. I don't know. I'm not a massive believer of that. You need to smoke more cigars from the same blend because I mean, how many people can afford to smoke 3 cigars before they decide to buy a box or 2 boxes? You buy a cigar in the shop, you like it, yeah, you go and buy a few more. If you don't like it, you just don't go back to the cigar. So every cigar should taste nice. It's yeah, a lot of reviewers. Okay, for a review, maybe you wanna be like smoke more cigars just to tell what's the median, what's in the there. But as a consumer, I think yeah, I'm smoking this cigar. It's my first one. Will I buy another one? I don't think so at the moment. This is a cigar which of the release date was about $15. It just doesn't perform the way I want for a $15 cigar. So I would probably not go and try another one. If it's for a tasting purpose or something like a review, I mean, I don't do reviews, but not public reviews, but maybe I don't know if someone wants me to do a proper professional review on that one. Yeah, send me a cigar or two. I will smoke them. I'll tell you what I think. But yeah, same with those expensive brands. So this was my talk about Atabe. If you guys want to add anything on Atabe, please feel free to throw it there. I personally haven't smoked it. I don't have a single Atabe behind me in the humidor, so maybe one day when I get a little bit rich, it's not going to happen from YouTube, obviously, because we cannot make money here. But who knows? Maybe I'll find a way to get some Atabes. Right. Not much comments on the Atabe, but I expect that one because it's a not very popular topic. The next thing I want to talk about, this will be my second of the main topics. This is cigar lounges. Yes, it's a very big conversation if you want to go deeply in all the details. But what about cigar lounges? So my idea to talk about the cigar lounges is to see what's your opinion on cigar lounges. What do you think cigar lounge should be? Because there's a few types of cigar lounges. I'm not talking even only for UK. I'm talking probably from every country in the world. So you have the cigar lounge where every blue collar guy, every normal person can go there, shorts, work clothes, sit down, enjoy a cigar, have a nice conversation. Do not pay crazy money for cigars. You're not overpaying 150% over the standard price, etc., etc. And you have lounges which are posh, if you want to call it that way, where you're not welcome if you don't wear a shirt, tie, blazer, maybe three-piece suit, a bow tie, etc. And the prices of the cigars are like four times more than what's in the shop. Obviously, everything is super luxurious in there. You know, a couch you're sitting is like 15,000 pounds. A glass you drink is probably 100 pounds, etc., etc. But is that necessary? I know there will be a conversation now. Oh yeah, there's a luxurious product. You should have a luxurious places, etc. But I don't know. I don't vibe with those lounges. I've been to many lounges around the world, and every time I go to a lounge, if I don't know anyone and I decide to go to a lounge, I do a little research, ask around, and if it's that kind of lounge where I need to spend five times the more and wear a certain type of clothes, I just no, I'm not interested because I don't know. I'd never have a wow experience in some of those lounges. I've been treated way better in the other type of lounges, and even my last visit to London, I don't know. Last year I was last time in lounge in London. That was last year. So imagine how long ago. And it was I was in one of the I would say one of the most expensive and poshest lounges in London. Exceptional expensive setting and everything. I mean, wow. I would say once in a while I don't like, but I was with people with let's say let's go there. We go there. I have one of the worst experience with cigars. My cigar was over humid. I lighted 15 times. It was Monte Cristo number two, and I spoke with the guy who managed the lounge, who ended know me, but he found out, when we start talking, he found out, oh, I know you exactly, blah blah blah. And there's a conversation between us. I told him, look, he asked me how is the cigar. I say, look, cigar is not well. It's over humid. I can tell you that it's soft, it's wet. Say, well, I know that, but the cigar's a positioning this was like you can't tell me you know about it and you don't do nothing about it. So I'm coming here, I'm spending three times the price of what that cigar cost, and you give it to me, and I'm someone from the industry. Maybe if you see someone who doesn't smoke, you say, yeah, you won't find out, but you know that I know about the cigars, and I'll find out if something's wrong. And at the end, you convince you confess that, oh, I know it's the way we set up the cigars, etc. So it's not nice. I mean, if you can't keep your cigars right, why you even bother? Yeah, I mean, so I agree with you. Cigar lounges charge more than the retail. Absolutely fine with you, but I wanna if I wanna go to a lounge, if they're gonna charge me more, I, I wanna go with shorts. Why they need to put a dress code in? I mean, there's numbers of lounges which have a serious dress code there, and it's like, well, if I don't wear a tie, I'm not gonna go there. I mean, yeah, I like to go in shorts. I'll pay whatever the money, but why not let me in? Yeah, I'm just look at the comments, guys. That's why I keep quiet for a little bit. I like the last comment from S. Glasgow, Dakota charge £100 for a Quiver Robusto. I mean, that's not a lounge. So that's another thing. This is a smoking terrace. What is it? Like a tent, whatever you can call it. I don't know what's the English word on that. And they charge £100 for that. Why? What's coming with it? I mean, it's not. Trust me, I work in retail. You charge if you want to charge more, charge more. Don't charge double and triple the price. It's not okay. It's unless it's, I don't know, you receive a free massage or bottle of champagne or glass of champagne, maybe, I mean, charge more. But just to get the cigar, and there's a certain lounges which charge fee to cut and lit your cigar, which is, I don't know. I've never seen this out of England. Maybe it's happening somewhere. I've been to different countries, obviously not everywhere, but there's a lounges in London which charge to cut and lit your cigar. So they charge like £15 just to snip it and light it for you. Really? Yeah, but Nader Nader says you pay the respect, buy the cigar and smoke yours. Yeah, but not a lot of lounges allow that one. So they expect you to buy the cigar and smoke it there. Some lounges allow it, but not all. So I don't know. So this was my little talk about the lounges. Again, I don't wanna insult in different lounges and people. It's everyone he's have his way to do his business, but I just don't find it right. And sometimes people ask me, "Oh, I want to go to. I'm traveling to London, or I'm traveling to that point. What do you recommend?" And I was like, what kind of lunch do you want? If I decide to talk, because I not always answer on those questions, but sometimes if I know the people, I'll answer. I say, what do you want? Posh and expensive, or lunch where you can sit down and relax and enjoy? And I don't think any person asked me for a posh and expensive lunch. I guess um, maybe I don't know, the normal people out of UK, they just want to sit down, relax, and smoke a cigar or sample cigar, what we call it, and just enjoy a drink or something like that. Oh yeah, Tim, it's very very typical to charge someone to charge you and like you for Ketan lit cigar. So one of the final topics I want to talk about today, it's as I mentioned, the perfect cigar blend. Well, that no exists. So it's another controversy. The perfect cigar blend. There's a lot of people we talk all the time in two different social media. Oh, this is the best cigar, the perfect cigar. That's the perfect blend, etc., etc. I would say perfect maybe for the guy who made it, maybe for his followers, but there are a lot of other people who would not like the blend. And also, a lot of people does not realize there's not many cigar blends which are the same cigar blends when they release the cigar, and the same cigar blends maybe years later down the line. It's just that blends change. That blend change. Obviously, the tobacco is a living material. Different crops, different terroir, every a different climate. It's changed everything. And yeah, there's a master blenders, people who like to change the blend a little bit, tweak the blend, create something which is close enough to the original blend. But this is not the same blend. It's what frustrates me is when you're releasing a cigar. Let's say, I don't know, popular cigar, Monte Cristo number two. You release a Monte Cristo number two, and next year Monte Cristo number two will be different. Yeah, Cuba do it right. They put a H on, they put a date that some people doesn't buy specific codes and dates, etc. But what about the other guys? How many people put date on the boxes? And if you smoke a box of 2012, definitely will be different box in 2013. So it's a different blend. Even if they say it's the same blend, it's not the same blend. It's different. And they should put the years like a vintage. I reckon this would be a very cool idea if cigar brands start putting the years like the vintage in the wine. You buy a bottle of wine, this winery, 2012 was exceptional year. 2013, it wasn't good. But I guess the cigar people would not be able to sell their cigars if they put that kind of stuff. So finding the perfect cigar blend, I've tried to talk with people who I can make some cigars with them and then say, oh, I want to do this blend and this blend, this blend. And then I was like, I smoke some of the blends and it's no work. That few brands which I smoke the same blend what they produce in few different years, and they taste exactly different. There's nothing like the same. So then you don't have the perfect blend. The perfect blend is, I don't know, if you create the cigar and every time is the same, it should be something like a perfect blend, but I don't think it's possible. fair point, Tim. Yeah, cigar can taste different depending on the mood and everything. But even if you have your clean palate every time you smoke a cigar, I mean, it's not possible. It's just doesn't. I've seen a lot of comments. No brand is consistent like the Padrons. Um, do you reckon? Because yeah, Padron is a big brand. I was in their factory. It's a very interesting company. Consistency. I mean, I don't know. I don't smoke Padrons every day. Maybe someone who smoke every day Padron 40th or I don't know 50th or 1926 etc. can tell you, oh, this is not the same blend. But the same. I mean, let's not start on Padrons because it's one of the rumors in the industry which not people usually don't like to talk about is they don't use Nicaraguan tobacco wrapper, so they use different wrapper, which is uh, yeah, rumors. We can talk a lot about that. So there's a few interesting comments on lounges. So I'll jump back to the lounges. There's a soul mentioning that the Kota Manchester, yeah, they let you bring your own cigars, but they're not lounge. I don't call them a lounge. They're cigar terrace outside the hotel. So lounges for me is more of a where they have a decent selection of cigars. You can go, you can buy cigars and smoke cigars. Yeah, cigar terraces. Maybe in Scotland there's no other option, but other places there's plenty of options. Yep, as you're very right on your comment about the dress code. I completely agree with you. So dress code, judging by the clothes and the way you look, it shouldn't be the case anymore. But I've been in London in places where you're not allowed to go in there if you don't have a jacket, a blazer. So I mean, come on. Well, if I wear just a shirt or if I wear a t-shirt, that means I can't spend my money there because I don't wear a jacket. It's a little bit off. Right, cigar can pair with your food or drink pairing. Um, Cigar tastes different with different food or drink, of course, because it's a sensory experience. It's all your sensors in your mouth a completely different way. You treat them completely different way. I don't like usually to pair food with cigar, not in the same time. Maybe a food then cigar, a food then cigar, or that kind of pairing course menu. But like eating and smoking, I know people do it. I've tried a few times. I just even with eating like peanuts and all almonds or any nuts or anything like that. It just doesn't work with me when I eat into smoke. It just doesn't taste nice. Drinking is a different thing. Drinking is a pairing cigars with different drinks. That's another whole topic where I can probably talk more in some of the future shows where it's a complicated and if you know how you can if you know the base ideas, you can actually do some phenomenal pairings. I will just jump a little bit in there into the pairing, something where a lot of people doesn't realize. But when you say I'm pairing Scotch, rum, tea, so if you drink a strong whiskey, you need strong cigar, or opposite, if you drink a strong whiskey, you need very light cigar. That kind of pairings. But it's not actually the case. You can drink anything you want, and cigar can be anything you want. So what that mean? You don't pair the cigar with the people who know me don't know when I get into that I get in a lot of technical, but I'll try to go not very technical, maybe people to understand it more clearly. So when you're drinking and smoking as a pairing, you don't do that in the same time. You don't be in the same time. No. You either puff and then drink, or either drink and then puff. What I mean, you pair the drink with the aftertaste of the cigar. You don't drink it with the taste of the cigar. So as people say, the cigar is sweet, it's almondy, it's nutty, it's leather, etc. Okay, but that doesn't mean anything when you pair it, because you need the aftertaste, the finish of the cigar. And if you see some of the interesting reviewers and people who do review cigars professionally, they actually add the finish in their reviews, the aftertaste, and also the taste itself, on the finish is not also that much important as the clean finish. The most important thing when you're pairing cigar and the spirit or non-alcohol, doesn't matter, any drink, is how clean is the finish of the cigar. This is this is quite clean finish. So this is what I mean by clean finish is when you take the puff out, you don't feel that anything left in your mouth. You don't think that you don't feel that sometimes leather coating on your in your mouth. That kind of tarmac, asphalt, sometimes earthiness, which stay in your mouth for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, for half an hour. Even some cigars, I stop smoking. Half an hour later, I still chewing something in my mouth. No, that's not a clean finish. That's a very dirty long finish. Clean finish is make a puff, has nothing left in your mouth. This is the best idea to pair cigar with any type of drink because you can actually taste both stuff. You have the enjoyment of the cigar, you have the enjoyment of the drink. And I can give you a few examples with a very clean finished cigar. So, clean finished cigar on the milder scale, it's Joya de Nicaragua numero uno. If someone smoke and know this cigar, it's mild, but it's phenomenal clean finish. Cuban wise, Oil de Monterrey, the standard lines, ep.2, 1, 2, 3, all of those phenomenal clean finish. I did exceptional pairing in one of my events with Oil de Monterrey number 2, paired with peaty, heavy peaty and smoky whiskey. And the people was at the beginning of the pairing was saying, "Ooh, that would be a complicated." And every ended like super fun. Everyone was enjoying it. And I was like, yeah, because the cigar have very clean finish, and after you can taste the whiskey. And the whiskey wasn't Arbec Lafroig; it's actually a blend whiskey, which is also don't have that long finish, and it was good combo. Another cigar which is a very clean, phenomenal clean finish and nothing left in your mouth is Plasencia Alma Fuerte. Alma Fuerte is a quite strong cigar. It's more on the full body type cigars, but you make the puff out, it's nothing in your mouth. It's a fresh. So think about that when you're smoking a cigar, even if you're smoking now something or tomorrow or whatever. Think about how long you taste the cigar, the finish in your mouth. Sometimes the cigar is that hard finish, that harsh finish that you need to drink after the puff. That's because it's either dry in your mouth, either pepperness, either something here tingling. It's not a clean finish, and those are the hardest pairings. Sometimes it just complicate. I've tried so many different combinations on some cigars, and I just cannot find the pairing because each cigar is just not clean enough, and I don't have something which I enjoy. So this is just a little bit on the side on the pairings. Again, this can be a little bit complicated, and just may give you an idea to think about. And shoot me a message if you want to know more about it. Maybe I'll try to explain it and talk more about it. But yeah, so again, we didn't mention much stuff about the perfect blend. I want to add the perfect blend as a final topic just because this is like the question, oh, what's the best cigar? I've been asking this question every single day in my life since I work in the cigar industry. Oh, what's your favorite cigar? What's the best cigar in your range? It's not, that's not exist. There's no perfect blend. There's no the best blend. There's all personal. It's all what you want at the moment. As someone mentioned, depend what mood you are, what you are. I smoke mild cigars. I smoke strong cigars, and I don't have a favorite one. Yeah, this is some cigars which taste nice all the time. Maybe that's why we call them our favorites. People have, oh, my favorite cigar is, I don't know, Cuiva Robusto. Yeah, maybe because everyone you smoke, it's very nice and coat your palate. But if you smoke, if someone give you, I don't know, something Diplomaticus number 2 in Cuba is the same strength as a Cuiva Robusto, but you won't find it that successful because maybe there's more problems with the cigar. You don't enjoy it. Or maybe taste wise as well. It's a lot of variations here, but yeah, I think I talked way too much about those nonsense topics and ideas. But yeah, that was a interesting and fun session for me. I think I don't have much of a technical issues today. I appreciate every one of you leaving a comment, likes, and everything. Again, it's been a fun. I will be live again next week, same time. I will think of some interesting topics for next week as well. In the meantime, I will try to add another video, another interesting video in the channel this week. I already record the video, I edit the video. I just need to do some final touches where I will talk about the cigar beetle and how we can protect, prevent, what's the troubles the cigar beetles can cause. I record an interesting video. I will try to post it this week so people can see it and enjoy it. And yeah, I'm working towards a few other videos, which will be another very controversial and interesting topics. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for everything, and I hope I'll see you next week again. And in the meantime, shoot me messages, comment, likes, subscribe. Uh, yeah, so thank you. Thank you. And now I'm gonna need to stand and move to my camera to stop the live because I don't have a remote and I don't have a way to stop my camera. But much appreciated, guys. And smoke your cigars because someone else will do. Life is too short, and don't let your cigars stay in the humidor forever. They're for smoking. Thank you.